Hello and welcome to Kicking Dust Part, I think 4, I lose track. Right, this is actually no action in this one. This is just going to be some how-to guides and stuff. What I'm going to show you here is the market. So just wanted to go through some really the basics. So this is the market and everything is again based around skills. So what I've just done there is I've actually bought my Caldari dropship skill. So as you'll see in a moment, I can actually now basically fly the Myron. Great name, and that's the Caldari dropship. And I've just bought the skill, but you'll notice I still have the check or the red cross on the skill book, because once you buy a skill, obviously you've got to then go to your skill page to plug it in, and that's really what we're going to look at today. So this is really how you do it. So what I'm doing here is just kind of rolling around the market and the character sheet. So as you can see, that's my recently injected skill book. It will give you the option, do you want to plug this in now or not? I would stress best thing to do is say always yes, because you sometimes lose the book. So always say yes, and then you have to come to your skill screen here, and you just see, as you see what I'm doing here. I'm basically going to, basically punch, level 1 into this. It is different to Eve. You don't set a skill then bugger off. You naturally accumulate unallocated skill points that when you're ready you assign to a particular skill. So as you've seen there, that's the difference. In Eve, obviously you just set a skill and you leave it running. So what we've done there is we've now obviously got our dropship and now have a little tick, so I can now basically use this lovely Myron. However, it's not just enough to use the ship. I then need to use all the fittings that go with it: afterburners, shield module, even the guns, the actual prong guns that you place in the ship. You need to be able to obviously fit them as well. So really it's a kind of a process of going through that. Now again, if you're familiar with Eve, then you're going to be more than familiar with what was going on here, but I would just maybe point out some obvious bits and bobs. So here, when we come to the turrets, you have to then select the particular type of turret that you're going to put on this ship. These are just the standard ones. I think they actually just have a natural prerequisite of turret operation 1. Okay, so again, like Eve, every category generally has a headline category skill. So turret operation is obviously turret operation, electronics is electronics, and so on. So just bear that in mind, because it does become part of it. And for this example, that's actually the afterburner. The active fuel injector 1 is the afterburner, and you need that in the dropship, otherwise you're just going to get missiled to death. It's so easy to drop a dropship. That makes sense. It's so easy to shoot a dropship down with the swarm launcher. So you need to be able to basically punch it chewy and fly the ship into into the sky. And also the same with the shield booster, because you will take hits. Now I've gone for the Caldari one, I think, just because I did fly the Galante one in the previous existence of this game, and wasn't a fan of it. I think shield is better. So I've gone with the shield in this case, and you can see there I need to buy the shield, the vehicle maneuvering skill book, but I don't have the ISK for that yet. And really it just becomes looking at the module, looking at the skill requirement, coming into the skill, seeing what you need to then buy the skill, and so on. Now ISK isn't too much of a problem in this game, as long as you kind of play the game properly and go for stuff. You do get quite a bit of ISK after each match, so ISK isn't a problem so far, but you do accumulate skill points quite slowly, so really try and plan what you're trying to do. So there we go, just bought my first dropship 101, and now have to fit it. So very similar to Eve, that's the baby there. I now need to basically put the missile launchers on it, put the afterburner on it, and so on. So it just becomes a general process of doing that, and you're seeing here what I'm doing. So I've now put the fuel injector on it as well, and that's looking pretty peachy. Now I've still got space for other modules, but again I'm running really low on ISK and skill points, so it becomes a bit of a thing. Now again, the beauty of this is once you've found a fit that you like, you can then just automatically restock it. You don't need to refit it all the time, so you actually build up a quantity, a surplus of these things. So as you see there, once I've got the perfect fit on my Myron that I like, what I can then do is just come into the fitting bit and just do a restock. And again, restock is something I think EVE Online needs, because you can basically just restock from the market whatever it is you're actually looking for. There's obviously reasons, that may actually be taken out, because if they want an open economy, there's going to be the problem where you won't have certain modules. But we'll see. So what I'm doing here is then just buying the shield booster as well. So yeah, again, you're probably seeing huge similarities here, and I think that's perfectly well, that's the point, really, isn't it? You do need to probably do a bit of theory crafting. I don't really have a perfect fit. I don't know if it's a light or a heavy shield booster for the Myron. I'm going to go with light because that's all I can afford, but yeah, I think I need to really figure it out. And you'll notice there is named gear in this as well. Now, you do accumulate loot, and every so often you'll get officer loot, so you'll get like a modified sniper rifle or similar. You can obviously use them, but the idea is that you're going to be able to sell them soon as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So there we go, our Myron is taking form. It now has the afterburner and the shield booster, so that's looking pretty good. I think it still needs some hardeners and resistance mods, but and certainly some extenders, because you know they generally take a lot of fire, plus a forge gun will probably knock this out of the sky, so it does need a bit of TLC. Okay, let's just jump now to look at some of the suit fittings. So you know, one of the first things I would recommend you do is you start to look and buy and fit particular suits that you like. Don't always stick to the standard, because, well, they're okay, but not brilliant. So I would probably suggest that you actually look at maybe buying a range of different suits that you actually quite, you know, like to use, and then use them as you basically need to. So you know, if you're in a kind of heavy attack, cramped entirely, you know, space, then you probably want some kind of frontline fast assault fits. If you're in kind of a logistics thing, again, you know, you need to set up your suits. The beauty of it is as well, you can refit mid process as well. So as you go through your map, you actually can, you know, if you find that there's a changing need. So we just played a map, for example, recently, where we basically pushed them all the way back to their drop zone. And all they were doing was sniping. So you know, you run to your supply depot and you actually refit to a sniping fit. And you can see there I've got the Arbiter. That's actually I think part of the standard mercenary pack that I bought, because you get a particular fit with that. But you'll see there's other, you know, there's kind of a range of assault driven suits, as you see there. Now I'm upgrading them with some particular niceties. I got the toxin submachine gun, so I'd rather have that than a pistol. I don't know, the pistol seems okay, but I'm not a fan of it, so I generally replace it with this SMG, because again, if you're in kind of close combat and you want to and you run out of your clip, it's better just to switch to your sidearm than it is to something else. So what we've done here is we're creating new. So here you can actually see all of the suits that you've got rights to. You can see here I've got a kind of range of them. They are the standard ones, I believe. And this is the Dragonfly is one of the mercenary pack ones, but all I've done is click this, and now what I need to do is fit it. So as you would with a ship, you're basically looking to then fit a gun to this. You're then looking to fit modules, grenades, and so on. As you can see here, basically fitted it with a shotgun. This is a rare named shotgun that I've got 50 units of, and then I've got my blueprint for the SMG, and then basically I can, you know, fit more modules to it. So I've got a shield extender there, for example. If I wanted to put grenades on it, I can do that as well. So this is just a great example of how to just kind of, you know, play about with some of the fittings. You do have some pretty cool equipment. So you've got the hacked up link, so you can spawn people into your place, and also the nano forge is actually an ammo crate, so you actually can basically restock. And then you have things like, you know, the stamina boosts. You have also then the ability to run faster, longer, harder, and all that good stuff. So, you know, there's a world of options that we can play with, and you certainly will, because you'll find, you know, this example I've just done here is a fast-moving scout with a shotgun who can basically get into a fight and pretty much try and win it. And I do like the shotgun in this. The shotgun's particularly good. But against an assault rifle, I still think the assault rifle would probably win. So, you know, it's not perfect. Just some of the fits here. So this is the Arbiter. This is, I think, a particularly unique one. This is maybe one that they've done. You see there's a scan resolution dampener, so you actually can reduce your scan image, ideal for sniping. The worst thing you can have is a sniper that can be seen from miles away. So if you damp yourself, you damp your signature radius, you actually reduce the visibility that they have of you on the radar. So it's a particularly useful thing to do. So, I mean, I'm just going through some of the standard fits. They are pretty good. I mean, I think feel free to mess with them, but I think, you know, as standard fits go, they're not bad. All I'm doing here is just adding some of my nice toys to it. Now, again, generally if you buy a stock of stuff from the market, you'll have a counter that tells you how many you have left. But if you buy Orium, certain Orium parts, they are permanent. So you actually are able to always have a particular thing. So you see here I've just gone to the militia drop suits, and I'm going to buy the Eon Militia Heavy because I like the heavy suit. You know, 6,400 Orium does seem a lot, but at the end of the day I never need to buy a heavy suit again. And I do like to have the heavy suit with the heavy machine gun as one of my fits that I can quickly change into. So I'm actually just going to fork out some of my cash. When I bought the mercenary pack, it gave me 40,000 Orium, so I might as well use it up. Plus you can convert your ISK into Orium, I believe as well. Your game time cards can become Orium, so that's pretty cool. And I think certainly, I think a lot of people are going to do that, particularly with the internet space riches. I think most of us have in Eve. I'm sure that it's going to be absolutely flooded with Orium, but you know, that's the way it goes. You can also buy one-off Orium fits. So you see there's the Neo Heavy Type 1, which is 70 Orium for one unit. So if I now die and lose that, I lose 70 Orium. So you lose like, what, 20p or something like that, 20 pence or two, you know, what would that be? It'd be like 40 cents, something like that. So, you know, you have to factor that in because it actually means you are using money, you know, you're using stuff in your own wallet. In this game, and that no dissimilar to PlanetSide 2 and so on. So just have a consideration about that because, you know, I think the Orium stuff is good. The permanent Orium stuff, as you see here, which is a blueprint, I guess they call it, that is permanent. So if I pay as I'm buying this now, it means I will always have that suit, always. As you see here, we can now access that, so I bought that. And I can basically do any concoction of fits using the heavy suit now. As you can see, the gentleman here at a jaunty angle. Looks a bit weird, doesn't he? He's leaning funny, isn't he? Anyway, he can basically then be permanently used, so that's good. And you see there the toxin is the same. I have that as a blueprint, so I'm able to always use that. And I think it's up to you if you want to do that. To be honest, the modules and the guns and the suits in this game are ridiculously cheap anyway. If they do mess about with the price, then fair enough. But what I know a lot of the guys do is once they've done, if they'll have like an afternoon playing, what they'll then do is they'll stock up and they'll buy themselves 200 or 300 suits. So, you know, we'll show you how you do that. But, you know, once you've fitted all your suits as you need, they just go to the restock option and they just buy as many as they can. Because what you do is you actually just buy the modules and it knows to then, so you can have multiple modules, obviously across multiple suits. But the reality is you basically just fill a stash in your, you know, your hangar effectively. And I think if you can afford it after, you know, an afternoon of playing, it's a good thing to do because I suspect the price of things is going to change. As soon as Eve players start being able to actually produce a lot of this stuff, I just think it's going to come a bit of a, well, it's going to go a bit funny. So I think buying it now is probably not a bad idea. I think if I had the brains, I'd have actually put my ISK into that, but I was so desperate to get my, I see, here you go, you've got these are blueprints as well, that I think generally, I think if you change outside the fitting, I'll have to investigate, but I think if you change outside the fitting, you can't use them. But, you know, when you're talking, what, 8,000 ISK for a heavy machine gun, you're only going to die maybe 5-6 times. So, you know, if you get 200k ISK per round, you know, you are losing on that. But effectively, you know, it all adds up, I guess. So, you know, this is really how to sort of set out the suits, and I think certainly give it a go because you really need to try and get a good range of suits that you're comfortable using. So there we go, we'll have action next time, I promise. See you soon.